The Supreme Court ruled against President Donald Trump's tariffs today. The decision impacts the president's sweeping tariffs enacted under the Emergency Powers Law. The justices found it unconstitutional for the president to set and change those tariffs, saying he would need authorization from Congress. The 6-3 majority decision was a surprise for the conservative court, which has sided with the president on big issues like immigration and spending cuts. Wisconsin Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin praised the ruling.
Since Donald Trump's so-called Liberation Day, we've seen chaos, we've seen confusion, and we've seen higher costs for Wisconsin families, farmers, and businesses.
Meanwhile, President Trump responded to the ruling by calling it a, quote, disgrace.
Other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money.
Just hours after the ruling came down, President Trump said he's enacting a 10% global tariff under a trade law. However, those can only be in place for 150 days unless Congress were to vote to extend them. The Wisconsin